Very dominant win from Forever Fallion in the second here. Hayden Ballantyne and Lucy Fiore looks like could be quite a nice type for the Kalgoorlie Bouldering Racing Club, Riley, especially stepping out in trip.
It was a really nice win, Tess. Looks a filly with a little bit of scope, and gee, she travelled into the race really nicely on straightening. A lot of her other rivals were off the bridle and already chasing, but she just cruised up to them and put them away with an ounce of authority over the concluding stages. And as you mentioned, she was tried out to 1900 metres last preparation, so she looks a filly who's only going to keep improving early in her career as she steps out over a little bit further.
That's it. And as you can tell, I've opted for the jacket now. It's gotten really cold here at the KBRC. It continues to get quite brisk with that wind as well. So congratulations for you just sticking in the blazer there, Riley. But
not far off following you in there, Tess.
Our attention, moves now to race number 3, the Shoebar Athol and Gerry Higgins Memorial Handicap over the 1400 metres. This is the 6th running of this race, and there will be a trophy presentation afterwards, remembering Gerry Higgins in memorial. Another very small field here, Riley. Only the 6 horses go around, but how do you see things playing out?
Well, I think Close at Hand's going to be hard to beat. He's a favourite in this market at the moment, Tess. He's a short price favourite in the red as well. He was a dominant winner at his first run here at Kalgoorlie. He was always going to be well placed with the form that he brought to the table in these 70-plus contests with the weight that he carried getting to Kalgoorlie. And I think he looks a horse who can certainly string a few wins together in this company before he might even get to the point where he's weighted out of these races in the future and has to go back to town. But I did think it looked another really good race for him. I don't think the weight swings that he concedes some of his rivals that he met last start is going to be enough for them to turn the tables. But I do think Evelina, who brings the different form, the form from town, she does her best work here at Kalgoorlie. I thought she looked the testing material to the favourite, the stablemate of Close at Hand, now that Evelina is back with Peter Fernie as well. So I'm intrigued to see how she goes here this afternoon as well.
Exciting times ahead for sure, and Evelina looks to be a really nice type for the region, formerly trained by Michael Lane. Runners are in the yard, so we'll begin our preview with the one, Verlaines, Helen Harding and Zephyr Johnson-Porter.
I thought he was really good last start, Verlaines. He's a former Boulder Cup winner, so he's always going to be a horse that's going to appreciate a little bit further than the 1400 metres, but the way he wound up late last start was a very promising performance off 8 weeks for Helen Harding. I do think he still wants further. I do think he's likely to end up in the second half of the field here with his racing pattern, even though it is only a small field. But another good run wouldn't surprise from him, but just going to wait until he gets out over further.
The 2 is the current Tab Touch favourite, opened $1.55, now $1.65. Close at Hand, won by 3.5 lengths last start. Peter Fernie, Lucy Fiore.
It was a dominant win, Tess, and he did look very well placed on that occasion as well, getting into that race with just the 54.5 kilos on his back. He cruised up in behind them. He looked as though Lucy just needed a gap, and he was always going to be hard to hold out, and that was exactly how it eventuated. Once Lucy found that gap, he showed that turn of foot that he's got, and he was far too good for his opposition on that occasion. As I mentioned, Tess, I don't think the weight swings that he concedes some similar rivals or the rivals he met last start here are going to make much of a difference or allow them to be able to turn the tables here this afternoon. Barrier 1 could be potentially the only aspect of this. It could be problematic for Lucy Fiore, as he may need some luck and some galloping room at the crucial stage, but I think if Lucy Fiore gets that and you trust in her, she's the form jockey in WA at the moment, that he's going to prove very hard to beat again, and that's how it's reflected in the market as well.
Continues to be supported, now into $1.50. The 3 is High Pressure, donning the Tom Percy colours, Brett Drury trains and Victoria Corver rides.
He ran 3rd behind Close at Hand last start, and he hit the line nicely over the concluding stages. It's been a bit of a story of his campaign thus far. He's just not leaving the barriers at the moment, this horse. He hasn't previously had problem with leaving the gates, but for whatever reason he's just not stepping cleanly this campaign. I think he gives himself a chance if he could begin, but that's always, given how he has been leaving the machines, a big question mark. He was still beaten 5 lengths at the finish there as well, so he would certainly need to elevate and find a few lengths to be turning the tables on the favourite.
The 4 is Evelina, and first up for Pete Fernie and Tash Faithful rides.
As we mentioned, Tess, she's back where she does her best work. She's got a terrific record here at Kalgoorlie. She's had 11 starts at the track for 2 wins and 5 minor placings. Her form hasn't been too bad in stronger races than what she meets here this afternoon. You go back through her form in Graduation Company this campaign. She's been beaten 4 lengths by Prospector's Pick, beaten 4 lengths by a very sharp filly in Supernatural. Was unlucky behind Cherry Can Run at Belmont in a no metro win race, and then the last time we saw her at the races, she was beaten 3 lengths by Sun Bronze, who's a Saturday type as well. So it's not bad form, although I don't think she's at or has been at her best thus far this campaign. She gets some weight relief off her back here. She gets a very soft run throughout from barrier 2. Tash Faithful jumps on board, and I think she looks the main danger to the favourite Tess, if there is one.
Is currently $4.40 on the Tab Touch market. The 5 is one more for Leo, Brett Drury, Natika Riordan.
He's uber consistent, this horse, Tess. He never runs a bad race once he finds his fitness. I thought it was a brave effort by him last start as well. He stepped up to the 1,760 metres. He hit the line nicely into second behind Magical Rain on that occasion. He's got terrific track and distance stats. He's back to 1,400 metres here today, which is not something you often see middle of the campaign, to drop back to the 1,400 from the staying trip here. Carries no weight on his back after the claim from Natika Riordan. 51.5 kilos is a featherweight for this horse. I think he's going to find this tougher than last start. That was in 58 plus company. Today he contests a 70 plus, but he can roll forward. He can put himself right there, and he's very consistent. Rarely runs a bad race, as we mentioned, and it wouldn't surprise to see him put forth a bold showing.
And the 6 is Prize Jewel on the 7-day backup and has been racing plenty this preparation. Paul Tapper, Brandon Louis.
She's been a consistent mare. She's been contesting races in 58 plus company, and she hasn't been far from the winner all campaign really, but she's just not winning in that company at the moment. She steps up in class to 70 plus grade here today, so obviously this is going to be a lot harder than the races that she has been contesting, and I'll be waiting for her to find something a little bit easier.
Looking at the market now, the last of the Pay 1-2 events on today's program. The first 3 races, we've just had the 6 runners go around. However, still quite competitive. The 2 close at hand is the favourite, continuing to shorten now since opening our preview. Was $1.65, now into $1.45. Evelina, the stablemate, is on the second line of betting. $3.30 out to $4.80. High Pressure, $5.50 out to $8.50. One more for Leo, $14 into $8.50, now at $10, as Riley alluded to. Only gets better the fitter he can get to. Prize Jewel is $14, and Verlaines is the outsider in this 6-horse field at $23. How are we seeing things play out in the shoe bar? Athol and Gerry Higgins Memorial Handicap over the 1,400.
2, 4, 3 and 1, my numbers here, Tess. Pretty keen on the 2 here, close at hand. The market suggests he's going to be very hard to beat, and that's the way I see things as well. He might just need an ounce of luck from barrier 1, but gee, he was dominant at his first run here at the KBRC. He's not going to find this race any harder, and I doubt that extra weight that he has to carry on his back is going to be a worry for him either. So 2 on top for me, close at hand from the 4, Evelina, who does bring that different form. She comes through graduation racing in town this campaign. She hasn't been at her absolute best, but she does seem to love racing here at Kalgoorlie. So I do like the fact that she brings the different form. Tash Faithful jumps on board from a very soft draw, and I thought she looked the main danger to the favourite and the stablemate if there was to be one. The 3, High Pressure, hit the line well last start, just not stepping this campaign and leaving himself with a fair bit of work to do. I think if he can begin better there today, then he gives himself a chance of finishing into the top 2, but he was still beaten over 5 lengths by our current favourite there last start. And the 1, Verlaines, in for 4th, who hit the line really nicely last start, this horse, off 8 weeks between runs. He's a former Boulder Cup winner. I think he's a horse that's going to appreciate getting out over a little bit further, but it wouldn't surprise to see him wind up and get to the line really nicely late again here as well. 2, 4, 3 and 1, my numbers here, Tess, but I do think our very short price favourite, who only continues to trim up in the market, if you can believe that, now into $1.38 on the fixed board with Tab Touch close at hand. I do think the market reflection is correct, and he looks very hard to beat.
Very short indeed, and Lucy was very excited to get aboard him again here today after the impressive victory last start. Beaten Kakadu 3.5 lengths the better. The shoe bar, Athol and Gerry Higgins Memorial Handicap. Riley's numbers 2, 4, 3 and 1, 2 close at hand on top, shortening in again and again, now at $1.34 and continuing to shorten. Just looking now at the write-up in the race book on Athol and Gerry Higgins. I believe they were very fruitful characters here at the KBRC. I know there would be plenty of family and friends here celebrating them, and paying respects and remembering them. It appears that Gerry used to be very entertaining, singing and playing piano into the night here at the KBRC. So hopefully everybody can have a drink and a win on their behalf and get the winner here in their race. As mentioned, there will be a trophy presented after this race as well to the winning connections. But we'll hand you upstairs now to Royce to call us home.
Good on you, Tess. Thank you. Yeah, 136 now, close at hand. Opened at $1.80 with fixed odds yesterday afternoon. $1.80 seemed luxurious in this field given the dominance of his first win. This impending gelding looking for win 5 today. So still a couple to come forward, Verlaines and Prize Jewel. So Prize Jewel to come forward, Brandon Louis in the saddle. Zephyr Johnson Porter on Verlaines, the 2023 Boulder Cup winner. With Grant and Alana at that point in time. Okay, we're set at the 1400 once again. Stand by. This is race number 3. The open class gallopers, close at hand, your favourite. So it started just not happy with something. There we go. And the gates fly back. Level dispatch. Verlaines now just restrained to the tail of the field. Prize Jewel going back from a wide draw as well. Close at hand is handy to the speed. Likewise with Evelina, the stablemate, putting some pressure into the race early. They were followed next of all by Verlaines, who musters after that sluggish start. Then we had one more for Leo to the outside. High pressure second last, and tacking onto the tail, it's Prize Jewel with 1,000 metres to run. It's close at hand, who shows the way by a half a length. Evelina second the outside. They were followed next of all by one more for Leo, who's just doing a little bit tough. Down on the inside, we've got Verlaines and a further length to High Pressure. They race at close quarters as they go to the side of the course, and it's Prize Jewel at the tail. So with 700 metres to run, close at hand, this 134 favourite shows the way by a length now on Evelina. Now having no luck whatsoever, it's one more for Leo. Verlaines getting a nice run behind the leading division. They were followed by High Pressure, and there goes Prize Jewel, extricated by Brandon Louis around the outside. On the point of the turn, it's close at hand, still held together. For Fiore shows out a length on Evelina. Then we had Verlaines the fence. Down the outside, one more for Leo, together with High Pressure, looking for a split. And down the outside, Prize Jewel, but it's close at hand, who kicks it up a cog now. Down the outside, one more for Leo, and then we had Evelina. But close at hand, looks very nice, doesn't he? Goes on and wins. Close at hand wins by 4 lengths. Second, perhaps one more for Leo. High Pressure there with Verlaines. They were followed in by Evelina, and last to greet the judge was Prize Jewel. Well, close at hand. That's win number 5 for this 4-year-old. And what a nice type he's starting to look. Close at hand, of course. You look at his form in the Metropolitan District. He finished 3rd behind Sales Session, and then went to Pinjarra, midfield behind Dialing. Bringing him to Kalgoorlie has really been a good move by Connections, Andrew Ingalls and Sam Brooke. Congratulations. It looks like they've got a nice one on their hands. That was start 17 today for 5 wins now and 5 minor placings. And a close at hand by Impending from Miss Supersonic gets the job done. Trained by Peter Fernie. Lucy Fiore in the saddle. That makes it a back-to-back double for Lucy in the saddle. 5 gets second. One more for Leo, Brett Gerry and Natika Riordan. And by star turn from Pietra, owned by R. McPherson, Mrs. J. McPherson, Brian Pascoe, M. Byrne and E.J. Robinson. Third in is the 4. That's Evelina for Peter Fernie, and Tash Faithful by Outreach from Storm of Fire, owned by Terry Leighton, Nick Carapalotti, C. Nelson, A. McGrath, J. Gallo, B. McManus, also R. Spence, Al Anderson, B. Ryan, T. Dunn, B. Johnson, L. Sartori, D. Wood, J. Heisman, M. Ray, and also A. Sedenick. And fourth in will be the 3. That is High Pressure for Brett Gerry and Victoria Corba. 2, 5, 4 and 3. 3 lengths by a half, and the winning gallop 125.23. Race 4 is next. That is the Kalgoorlie Case and Drill Handicap over the 1100 metres. 10 minutes to 3 the start time. No changes to your field in your race book. Dreamers Never Die is your favourite at $2.60, ahead of Science Degree $3.80 and Love Drunk Baby at $4.60. That's race 4, but in the meantime, let's cross down to the yard to catch up with Connections of Close at Hand.
Thanks, Royce. Joined with Peter Fernie here. Pete, very easy watch there. Hands and heels, leads the way and kicks away.
Yeah, we didn't really want to lead, but there was no speed in the race today. Because most of his runs he's come from behind in Perth, so him getting out in front, I was a little bit worried on the corner, but he put him away pretty nicely. Lucy didn't knock him around. He's quite a nice little horse, and he'll just have a couple more and we'll tip him out and see where he ends up.
Ended up being very short in the market as well. Month between runs, how's he been behind the scenes?
Yeah, good. We haven't done a lot with him. We just took him easy for a couple of weeks after he raced, knowing there wasn't a race for him, so he hasn't had many gallops. He's most probably had one gallop since then. He's pretty clean-winded, so he was very fit from Grant and Alana when we got him.
Fantastic. You've got a big team in again today. Dreamers never die in the next. Thoughts there?
There's a mock that owns a share in it, so we've got to be careful having anything on it.
Congratulations here. Best of luck throughout the day.
Thank you.
There's Pete Fernie, and here's Lucy with an early double.
Thanks, Tess. Lucy, that was a nice sit and steer. This horse seems a very easy horse to ride, and he's ticked that versatility box now with that win today as well.
Yeah, he has. I was obviously Pete and I were a bit sceptical. It's quite windy. Didn't really want to leave. On paper, it's kind of like, oh, who could lead him? And I didn't know who else I really wanted to follow. So when he put himself there, I was like, oh, you got to do it. But he did it easy enough. And yeah, he's got a really good turn of foot when I asked him to go, and he loves it up here.
He does, and he's a horse who has been known to do a lot of his racing from in behind the speed. He seemed to settle quite well today, finding the front for the first time.
Yeah, I think he always settles well. It's just a surprise that he started jumping fast.
He's a horse, like many that come up here to Kalgoorlie, that Pete Fernie acquires. These consistent city types, but they aren't stars, but gee, they just seem to thrive when they get up here.
Yeah, well, Pete does a very good job with them.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
There's Lucy Fiore combining with Pete Fernie here in the second. The Shoebar Athol and Gerry Higgins Memorial Handicap over the 1400 metres. Close at hand is your winner. One more for Leo in for second. Evelina third, and High Pressure in for fourth. We'll now do a trophy presentation in remembrance of Athol and Gerry Higgins. But stay with us. The first leg of the quarter here at the KBRC is not too far away.